shouted KL Rahul for his captaincy. He lost to the
Okay,
South
so
Africa
let's just
series.
move on. Let's just move on
Yeah,
to
Yeah,
Lucknow.
Lucknow.
yeah, actually move on. Sure, I don't know. Yeah, nothing else to say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
So you
shit captaincy by
mentioned,
KL Rahul.
So you mentioned that. So one of the points I actually listed on in the show notes was Lucknow has so many bowling options. Is that kind of hurting them because KL Rahul just has too many options. Like there
See,
was no need to bowl Stoinis. There was no need to bowl
I,
Badoni.
I
Even
think
though
there's
Badoni got a wicket, there was no need to bowl him. They didn't finish Avesh's quota, who's bowling really well. They didn't finish Krunal's quota, who's been really well for them this season. They used Bishnoi in a really weird way, like towards the back end more. Um, it's just really odd bowling changes from KL Rahul. So is having like too many options actually a bad thing when you don't have a captain who's particularly good at using them?
Yeah, I think that's the point, right? Your captain is everything because we've seen captains who've had a plethora of bowling options, right? Because MS Dhoni, when he used to play with CSK, the CSK of 3 years back, I think, whenever they 3 4 years back, whenever they used to win, they had 7 or 8 bowlers in their lineup. I'm pretty sure they did with like Harbhajan Singh here, Piyush Chawla here. They had a lot of bowlers in their lineup.
Kedar Jadhav.
And sure, Kedar Jadhav, worst player to play the IPL. So they had an insane amount of bowling options, but Dhoni used them to absolute perfection, and CSK had a title run that season, right? So it's all dependent on the captain. Having a lot of bowling options isn't necessarily a bad thing because technically, if you see this time also, I don't want to mention it, but Faf, he's had a lot of bowling options. Even at the start of the season, RCB played with 8 bowlers, I think, and I think he didn't get um, pushed or persuaded into using all of them at all. We didn't even bowl Shafin and Rutherford. We used only 2 overs of Willie at the top. Even with Dhoni, Harbhajan at the top, done. Bowl my other bowlers. Jadeja 1 over per game. So you just need a tactical mind for that, and I don't think KL Rahul has that. His captaincy, I don't know why he's the vice captain of India, considering Rohit Sharma is going to be injured every 2 seconds. So I think KL Rahul here
Hashtag
needs
make
to
Bumrah vice captain.
literally even make Rishabh Pant vice captain. But just he needs to work on his captaincy according to me.
Yeah, and also like the reason is LSG is like they're a team of depth. They have incredible batting and bowling depth, and that's probably because their entire team is like all rounders. Then number 3 through what their number like 8 or 8 9 are all rounders, and even Decock and Rahul are their keepers and batsmen. I know that's not the same thing because not all keepers in the team.
See, I
But
mean,
that's
like
not my point.
that's perfectly fine for a team. It makes their team so
No,
balanced,
that's
right?
that's the
Because
thing. But if you have
yeah,
someone who doesn't know use them and just compulsively use it as many bowlers as they can without this thing, as you talked about, then it doesn't help them
see,
really.
I think building on that all-rounder point, he doesn't even know how to use his batting because Stoinis batting so low just baffles me. He could have won them the game yesterday. Krunal Pandey coming in above him was a huge blunder, according to me. Ayush Badoni coming in at 3 was a huge blunder, according to me. I don't know why you're making him play Trent Bolt. It's the first time in his life he's facing Trent Bolt opening with a new swinging ball. I don't see the logic in that. Deepak Hooda's performance in number 3, send Deepak Hooda. After Deepak Hooda, send Marcus Stoinis. Okay. And apart from that, I still don't understand why Krishnappa Gautam is not playing. I don't care what you do, just play Krishnappa Gautam. He's been so good for you. Um, it's been they have a perfect side. They just don't know
Also,
how to
it's
use
not
it.
like they've secured a top 2 spot. Like I get it if they've secured top 2, they can just try experimenting with all their options just to like have a clear mindset of what they have while going into the playoffs. But they've not secured that top 2. And losing that match against Rajasthan actually hurts their chances of making top 2 because Rajasthan is the other contender. So like sending Badoni at 3, or bowling Stoinis, bowling Badoni, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Even though bowling Bodoni worked, it was a bad move.
Yeah. Even though it worked, they shouldn't have done that.
Fair enough.
All right, next team. Let's see. Who do we want to talk about? I will choose. All right. So